Well, welcome everyone to another Social Saturday Chat Live. We are here with my wonderful co-hosts Martha and Joel, and I'm Felipe Cofino, and we are excited to talk about how job seekers can stand out to recruiters and employers today. We know we have a few of our other co-hosts joining us today, but I know this is a topic that's important for everyone. And if you are joining us today, please, join us in the chat. Let us know where you're coming from. Let us know what questions you might have, and also if you're watching Team Live or Team Replay. I see that we have our furry friends here. Mine's over here sleeping on the couch, and I see Bailey and I see Teddy there. We are dog friendly, so dogs are always welcome to the Social Saturday Chat show. If you are new to it, do me a favor. Check out our LinkedIn homepage. It's Social Saturday Chat on LinkedIn, and go ahead and give us a follow there. And also hit that little bell on the right-hand top corner of the screen so that you can get notified whenever we do lives or when we have different posts from different co-hosts. Also, if you want to check out some of our past episodes, you can go to your favorite podcast, Apple. If you want to check out your Apple podcast, Social Saturday Chat is on Apple. Or if you are not an Apple fan, maybe you prefer Spotify, go to Spotify and check out our podcast there as well. It's a place where you can listen to past episodes where we've highlighted amazing guests, we've tackled amazing topics, and we've had some really fun and valuable networking events. So check it out. And with that, I am going to, let's start off some introductions, y'all. For those of you I haven't had the pleasure of meeting, my name is Felipe Cofino. I'm an HR executive. I'm a career coach, currently a LinkedIn top voice for as long as they give me that title. And I also am a current author of a children's book, which I'll keep on mentioning for a little bit. So you can go to my page and see more about that. But I'm also just an enthusiast about LinkedIn, about just helping give back and sharing what has helped me throughout my life, along with these other amazing co-hosts here that are doing the same thing in their own way. So it's our chance to do that, and that's why I'm excited to be here every Saturday. So with that, I'm going to hand it down to you, Martha.
Thank you so much, Felipe. A little late there. So for friends that don't know me, Martha and Teddy here. We're humanitarians at Hearts. I work in the field with many in-house folks, anywhere, wherever they're located. And I'm so sorry. He's won my attention every time I do this. He knows. Okay, Teddy. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about me, you can check me out on LinkedIn. Also, the website's listed here, Connect Impact Hub. I am the founder. And again, that's Teddy in the background. I'll pass it over to you, Joel. Okay. Come here, Teddy.
Fine. Hi everyone, my name is Joel, and this is a really bad angle, but I was giving my dog some supper. So I run my own company called Rockstar X. It's underneath my my name as well, and it's all about helping people realize the power of neurodiversity, particularly in the workplace, and how across the board how creative they can be. So with that, I go to Lark, and yes, Lark, yes, and I'm going to take him outside.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Joel. Thank you for the prop there, Felipe. Lark Amber is calling in from the absolutely beautiful and sunny, warm day in St. Lucia here today. I am all about mental fitness and getting to that point of personal peace, which will allow for clarity so that we can all make better decisions and have a happier, healthier, more productive life. Yeah, we are talking to job seekers today, and it's an interesting topic. And when I was thinking about my role here today, Felipe, I am not actively one of them. I remember those days, but I do hear some questions, and I do know some of the concerns and trepidations that people are feeling. So if it doesn't come up in conversation, I look forward to kind of introducing those kinds of energies into the conversation. So happy to be here. Welcome to everyone. And I look forward to this being another amazing Social Saturday chat. Back to you, Felipe.
Well, thank you, Lark. And I think everyone's experiences with job seeking is valuable, whether you are a job seeker who is thinking about looking for a job and leaving your current one, or you're a job seeker that is currently unemployed, or maybe you're thinking about starting your own business and being an entrepreneur. These are all career challenges and things that we all struggle with. But today, hopefully, we all can provide some insight. I'm actually going to put the link to the chat to join us on stage in early today because I want to make sure that people have a chance to come up and ask their questions. So please make sure that you come up and join us for the conversation. It is specific to job seekers, so please keep your questions specific to the topic. We love when people share their stories and great celebrations, but today we want to really make it specific to job seekers. So share in the chat or come up on stage, and I'm putting the link right now. And there it is. All right. So while we are coming up on stage, a few things I wanted to show real quick. So one, look, if you're feeling like there's not enough jobs and people are saying, oh, there's so many jobs out there, let me just share some facts to start off with, okay? First of all, with Indeed, right now, you can see since 2021, the jobs available have gone steadily down year over year, okay? Regardless of what people are saying, these are some actual stats, okay? Now, the reality is that we hear on the news, oh, no, there's more. No, guess what? The Bureau of Labor Statistics also matches that same stat, showing how the jobs available are going down. So it's not just you, it's happening everywhere. So I want to make sure that everyone understands that first and foremost, because there is a lot of, what am I doing wrong? Am I not doing it right? Am I not saying things right? I'm not, and it's frustrating. It's frustrating as crap, y'all. We've all been there at some point in our life. So I think it's important for us to remember that, you're not alone, okay? Now, I do want to say hello to a few people that have joined us already. Oh, wow, we got a lot of people in the chat. Crap. Sorry, excuse me. Leanna, great to see you there. And Adrian, hello. Meryl, thanks for joining us as well, our amazing connector. And Bernardo, ¿cómo estás? It's been a while. Great to see you. It's always great to see you from Uruguay. And then we have Marcello. Hola, great to see you on Team Live here. And Sean, thank you for coming. And then we have KJ and let's see, Aaron Gibson. Yes. And let's see, did I miss anybody? Oh, Jackie Hallberg's here. I'll be on Jackie's show on Monday. Just a little shout out there. And who else do we have here? I think, and Kenny. Kenny and a few of us last night played a game that reminded me, if you all remember Atari and Intellivision, we were playing this game together at like 10 o'clock at night. It was kind of fun. Again, LinkedIn community. David Pushkin, great to see you here. And all right, and Avice. So thank you all for joining us. Please ask questions. Your question might help somebody else in the chat. And we definitely want to hear from you, whether you come up on stage or in the chat. Now, before I start sharing some other stuff real quick, Martha, you're laughing hysterically. What is going on?
Well, I just read a comment from Teddy. Teddy's always talking.
What? Is it this one? No, that's not it. Which one is it?
You know what? I didn't see it in here. I had to go out. Yeah. He does talk too much.
Well, Kenny, you leave Teddy alone. Stop messing with Teddy. Teddy's allowed to have a voice. Everyone's allowed to have a voice here on Social Saturday Chat. All right. So, well, real quick, some things I wanted to share for you all to think about, okay? Now, first and foremost, I want to share two things that I know have helped me mentally before I shared some actual tactics for you to use with employers and recruiters, okay? First, there's a quote that a long time ago I saw when I was in the hospitality industry, and it was in an office that I took over, and I kept the actual plaque that was on my wall, and it's this quote here from Vince Lombardi. It says, the difference between a successful person and others is not a lack of strength, not a lack of knowledge, but rather a lack of will. And I'm sharing that with you all today because the reason is that quote there really is something that has stayed with me throughout my life. And it's reminded me that a lot of times we may not have the experience, we may not have the knowledge, but we can get it. It's our choice. So you have to have the desire and the will to go out there and learn. Now, the second thing I want to share you is something that's helped me specifically during my job searches. When I was questioning and doubting my experience, doubting whether I was good enough to get the jobs that I thought I was really strong and experienced in, that I felt really confident in, but because I was getting rejections, I started doubting myself. And this is something here I've said it before, it's a little mantra thing. Sorry for the special effects, it's in the intro that we're doing. But these 5 words are words that remind me during my job search that I need to have confidence in what I do know and have experience in, because I do have experience and no one can take that away from me. So I should have confidence in that. Curiosity, be curious about what I don't know. Don't let it scare me. If I don't know about something, guess what? We got Google, we got ChatGPT, we got so much technology right now at our fingertips to give us the answers about the things that we don't know. And we can also learn them. YouTube tutorials, LinkedIn Learning. So we have the ability. So like curiosity, take away that fear about the things you don't know and learn them. And then the third, be grateful for what you have, because the reality is you've got more than others, period. And then be compassionate to yourself. Don't beat yourself up. You would not be this tough on somebody else that was job seeking. So don't be that tough on yourself. Give yourself some compassion. And the last one, be tenacious as hell, because you've got this. You have tenacity. You have the ability to overcome things. Don't doubt yourself. You've got the ability to do it. Keep on going. So I wanted to share those things. Those things have really made a difference in my life. I hope any part of that might help someone out there. And I wanted to go around the room and real quick have people share just one thing that's really helped them during their moments of weakness or doubt that get them through that. And then we're going to share some of the tips and tips and strategies to help you stand out. So Martha, I'm going to hand it over to you first.
Felipe, before we go to Martha, Mac's in the waiting room. He's been there for
Oh,
a
I
few
can't
minutes.
see him. Wait. Oh, I'm so sorry, Mac. There he is. Thank you, Joel. All right. And let me take away this other. Oops. All right. So Martha, go ahead. Over to you.
Yeah. As you were speaking, Felipe, from my personal experience, it's definitely confidence. Just going into an interview with confidence, but also what has worked for me. Good morning, good afternoon, or evening. Is recommendation letters. Those have been golden. Just requesting, whether you're volunteering or your last job, get those recommendation letters. It doesn't matter when you get them, you can request them, whenever. And just start keeping those somewhere. So when you need to pull them out, you pull them out. I do have another question, but maybe we'll move into questions later, Felipe, because I am coming across a lot of folks in my field of folks with criminal backgrounds.
That's a great question. Let's tackle that. Let's go around the room real quick, and then we'll definitely tackle that. So, Lark, over to you since you're next to her.
Sure thing. So I think for me, as we know, I am all about getting to that place of clarity, of peace, of calm. And so I think sometimes we start to feel pressured and panicked to find a job, to find something right away, because we're feeling life just forcing us forward. And I just like to remind everyone that all of those circumstances and stuff are true and they are real. But what is also true is that it is perfectly okay to get calm and just patiently and methodically follow a plan. But I think so many people get so caught up in the stress and the worry that they get swept up and just completely forget that it is okay to dial it back for a moment and then go forward a little bit more intentionally, and that ultimately serves you so much more. So that's just kind of what I would like to highlight and introduce to the conversation, because I think it's so critical. It's a critical piece of the puzzle, but the one that I think we overlook so easily. And so I just wanted to throw that out there. And of course, there are several different ways of doing that. But, since I have the stage and we know I'm all about mental fitness, the one thing I like to do on my PQ reps, it's a very simple technique, but so effective in just momentarily calming all of those voices and stresses down so that you can literally focus on the one task at hand in front of you. So that's what I want to throw into the conversation at this point.
I love that. And I think that's really valuable. I mean, the recommendations, I want to go back to that real quick. Awesome suggestion. That's a huge help. And you're right. You need to get out of your head sometimes and center yourself and have that moment of peace and calm. We all know that we make better decisions when we're calm and have some clarity than when we're panicked and in chaos. So thank you for that. I'm going to hand it over to Joel. Are you there, Joel? Hello, Joel.
Hello.
Joel. Over to you. So what have you done that's helped you get through your job seeking when you've had moments of doubt or uncertainty?
All my jobs really that I've ever done. I'm a terrible example. Every single job I've ever done has been almost handed to me on a plate, either from my mother, my father, or my cousin. Family. I'm a terrible example.
Actually, no, you're not, because what you just described is that you networked. Bottom line, you networked. No one says you can't network in family. So good job networking there. And Mac, please do your introduction and then share what's one thing that's helped you when you've been in that job seeking place and you've had moments of uncertainty or self-doubt.
Well, I'm glad firstly to be back because I was out of action last week. And I hate missing these sessions. So for those of you who don't know me, Mac Laupsher, known as the LinkedIn expert, not because I know a lot about LinkedIn, which I do, but because I help you become the go-to expert in your field on LinkedIn. So you are to be the LinkedIn expert. So that's what I do. I effectively help people with offline and online networking strategies and how to use LinkedIn as an effective tool. So if that's something that you're struggling with, feel free to reach out, and I'm more than happy to have a conversation and help. You can just go to my profile and book a chat. But I think Felipe, there are a few things to that question. So with the job hunting thing, and with myself, but I'm also seeing a lot of other people go through it with regards to the endless applications of jobs and zero or little to no response. Because one thing that I didn't know many years ago, and I know very well now, is there are a lot of recruiters, not only on LinkedIn, but around the world, and they do this thing called CV phishing, where they basically just collect a lot of data. They post a lot of job titles for the perfect type of roles so that they can get applications in that they may not even have roles for. So that's why, always be dubious when you see roles that are out there that doesn't give you the company info. It just, when you read the post or the job post, it looks like, oh, this is the perfect job for me. But then when you look into the detail, there's very little or nothing about that. And especially watch out for those scams that we're seeing on things like WhatsApp. I've had 5 messages from TikTok asking me to be an employee this week, and I get paid $300 to $600 a day, part-time, work when I want to. Amazing. Just click on this link. Don't be doing that. So, that's the one thing where you could very easily create self-doubt because you're applying for these roles and you're not getting any answers. And that can be it can send you in a downward spiral where when you do get opportunities, you don't show up at your best because you're already doubting yourself before you've even walked into the potential interview. So for me, one of the most important things is go and look at your own track record. Have a look at all the roles that you have landed, all the things that you did well in those roles. Go back and have a look at the achievements, the awards that you've got, the targets that you broke, and just go and set yourself up for success by remembering all those tough things that you've been through and overcome and where you have succeeded so that you show up from a place of strength. So hopefully that helps, Felipe. I'll pass the mic back to you.
Hello. Well, Copper wanted to say hello. He came by. He was hearing that he heard Teddy bark. But you know what? Shout out to the dogs who help us get through these difficult times too. Sometimes, or those furry pets, because they are emotionally supportive. You hear about people having emotional support dogs. I think when you're job searching, a dog can definitely do that for you, right, Copper? Good boy. All right. So now talking about some of those things and to address one of the questions. Gregory in the chat, yes, you can add questions in the comments and we will address them there as long as we have time. But going back to a few things you all mentioned, recommendations, that's something that's a really important thing. Mark talked about that. And that's something that don't wait for someone to give you a recommendation when you're job seeking. You know what? Go out there and start asking. Put your pride to the side and do something about it. But go for the low-hanging fruit first, y'all. Go to those college professors, those people that we used to work with on projects. Even if you haven't worked with them in 10 years, you still talk to them. Hey, listen, I know we haven't worked in 10 years, but can you just do me a favor? Can you write me a recommendation or put one on LinkedIn? Reach out to those bosses, even if maybe they're retired or they don't work at that place anymore, and ask them to write a recommendation letter. A lot of times, they're more likely to write it after they've left that job, because sometimes HR, I know, says, you can't write recommendation letters for people. So I get it. So I'm telling you the loophole here. Go to the people that aren't at that company anymore because they're more likely to do it for you. And also, make sure that you let them know what you want them to recommend you about. Because if you are working in healthcare and 10 years later, now you're in banking, the skills may not match. So you might want to say, hey, talk about my leadership, talk about my project management, talk about my attention to detail and financial literacy in your recommendation. And that will help that banking job, even though it was a healthcare job. So these are things that are so important in recommendations. So I'm glad you brought that up. Clarity and peace and calm, I'll say it again. No one's made good decisions when they're panicked, when they're freaking out, and they're stressed. You make better decisions when you're calm, you've had some moment of clarity, and you are thinking straight. So when you have those moments, coming from someone who has had to deal with anxiety attacks for a while until I learned what they were and learned how to manage them after I got on medication and got off it and went through all the entire roller coaster, please know that you need to find a way, whether it's that breathing exercises that Lark has helped us do in the past, the meditation app with guided meditation, going for a walk, exercising, whatever it is for you, you got to find a way to get to that moment of clarity and peace. It's so important for you because if not, guess what? On the interview is going to know that you're not acting confident, that you have self-doubt, that you're questioning yourself. Are those things you want to portray in an interview? No. If I say, hey, can you do the job? I think so. No, you don't want that. You want, yes, I know I can do it because of A, B, and C. So those moments of clarity provide you that confidence too. The networking, Joel, network has got to be your full-time job too. That's another part of your job. When you're job seeking, your full-time job is job seeking. Networking is part of job seeking. So getting out of bed and getting dressed every morning, first and foremost, whether you've got anything to do or not, do it. Mentally, it's going to help you. But don't just attend virtual events. Find those in-person events. We all know when we get talking to somebody in person, we probably have a little bit longer and a little bit more meaningful conversation sometimes than we can virtually in a group setting. So go to those networking events. There's so many free ones out there. It's valuable. It's worth your time. Go to it because you never know who that person you meet might be connected to, okay? And then to Mac's point about no responses and those damn freaking scams. They piss me off, y'all. They really do. I get them. My son got them. My son almost clicked on one. Thank God he called me. It's like, oh my God, I got someone. They sent me this great thing. I think I can do it. All I have to do is apply. They'll send me money, and I'm like, okay, what's the job? I don't know. Who's it for? I don't know. But it sounds great. I go, Brady, it's a scam. No, it's not. No, I don't think it is. Like, ask him if you can talk to him on the phone. Oh, he said no, but what do I need? And ask him, say you have a few questions. You just want to get on a video call or phone real quick, just a few questions. And then the response was, do you want this job or not? And he says, no, I'm interested. I just have some questions. You know what? Forget it. And they ghosted him. Again, because he asked normal questions, you all. So please, if it's too good to be true, I wish it was true, but it probably isn't. So be curious and ask those questions. Now, to your point about no responses, and then I want to get some other questions from people here. I haven't seen any in the chat. Oh, wait, there's one in the chat. Okay, good. But no responses, part of that is because recruiters are either A, very overwhelmed with applicants, and they can't get back to everybody. It's a nature of the beast sometimes. Doesn't make it right, but it's reality. Second reason, recruiters are lazy and don't care. Sorry, it's true. There's some out there that act that way, and they don't care. They care about filling the job. Once they fill it, everyone else that applied, they've forgotten about. The third reason, which is the one I want you to remember, is, are you just applying for anything and everything that looks good because of the title of the job? Or are you actually looking at the job, looking at the job description, looking at who posted it, looking who works there, doing your research? I know it sounds like a lot of work. It does. And trust me, for the first month that I was unemployed, guess what? I wasn't following my own advice. And guess what? I wasn't getting any responses. But then I sit there and got a wake-up call, and someone's like, why aren't you doing what you tell the people to do? I'm like, oh, dear God. I was like, what is wrong with me? So once I started doing that, guess what happened? I was applying to fewer jobs, but I was getting responses. Yeah, some of them were rejections, absolutely. But I got some interviews. But here's the things that I did, okay? In addition to applying, I did read the job description. I may have customized my top of my resume a little bit to use the same words that they're using. They're saying spreadsheet experts. We need people who understand spreadsheets. I have Excel all over, but guess what? I changed Excel to spreadsheets. Very simple example, I know, but think about the terminology they're using. Use their terminology. Make those changes. 2, if they're fortunate enough to see who posted the job, go to that person's LinkedIn page. Go send them a DM. And here's the trick. Not trick, I'm sorry. Here's the strategy. Don't go right in for the ask. I need a job. You know what? You're going to be in a sea of thousands of other people that have said the same thing. If you want to stand out, research that person, look at if they're posting. Oh my God, if they're posting, that's gold, because then you can stand out in their posts and they're going to see you a lot more. You are going to stand out like gold if you comment on their post. Their company, if you want to stand out to the employer, not just the recruiter, comment on the company page. You go to any company page, you will see they get the least amount of comments than anybody else. So you want to stand out to the employer, comment on their pages. But again, don't comment with great posts. You're not going to stand out. Share your knowledge. Show that you know what they're talking about. Say, that's great. When I've done that, this has worked as well. But what have you done when this has happened? Ask them a question. If you get a response, you've got your foot in that door a little bit now. Because now somebody's talking to you. Not maybe verbally, but they're talking to you in the chat. So these are just strategies. And you got to put the work in, you all. You got to put the work in. You got to see, who do you know in that company? Who do you know in that company that maybe is connected with you? You may not have chatted with them, but you're connected with them. That's a person you can reach out to saying, hey, and here's the other tip. Write this one down. Don't say you've applied for a job and you want them to help you, pull out the resume or let HR. No. if you're talking to a recruiter, the trick, and this is a trick because it works on me, you say to them, I'm thinking about applying for this job that you posted. Thinking about it. Can you tell me a little bit more about the culture? Or can you tell me if how much you enjoy the job there? Or can you tell me where I can find more information about maybe reviews about the company? Anything at all, because here's the thing. That recruiter, what they're thinking is a candidate that's not already applied and they have some experience. I don't know if they're good or not, but I need to grab them. I need to grab them and get them to apply. That's how recruiters think, you all. Once they have you applied, okay, I may not respond to you because I already have you, so I'll wait to get back to you when I'm ready. But if I don't have you yet, oh boy, oh wait, you're thinking about it? Let me get you to apply. Let me get you to apply. And that's going to help you more times than you think. Okay, so please, these are things that have helped me personally. And with that, I want to stop there because there were some questions that came up real quick. And I also want to see if any of the crew here have questions. But Michelle, you had a question. You had a couple questions, I think, here. Hold on. There was one earlier that I saw about recommendations. Is this it?
Felipe, you want me to read them?
Oh, here we go. Here it is. Okay, so her first one was, are recommendations on LinkedIn considered if they are from your ex-boss? Absolutely. People are not, look, for someone who looks at recommendations, I'm not actively looking at who gave them to you and where do they currently work. Usually it tells you that already, but I don't really care if he worked with them currently or not. A recommendation is a recommendation. So that's a great question there. I gotta give a shout out to Miss Melissa Houston, who's writes with the chaos out, clarity comes. And that comes from somebody who, we understand chaos if you watch our show. Michelle had another question here. In a recent interview, I listened to the projects and said I could take project X off the manager's hands immediately. Well, for project Y, I would need to take some time to understand the exact problems to take that over. Should I have said, oh, was there more to that? Hold on. Oops, 1 second, sorry.
She asked that she should take it over immediately, or can take it over immediately, even though she doesn't have experience.
Yeah, sure. So that, that's a judgment call. I'll be honest with you, because my personal opinion is I respect that honesty. I do. I think that that's something that I would recommend, that the way you handled it was good, because it shows me that you know your limits and you're not BSing me. So I do think, however, I would be remiss if I didn't say that there are some recruiters that just want you to be 100% confident about everything, and they want to be able to hire you and just throw you in there with no training and do the job. That happens. The higher you go up, you all, that's reality. They expect you to know the stuff and be able to throw you in the job and be able to do it. So as you move up higher in the roles, that question, you might want to tailor it with a little bit more confidence and say, you know what, I can take on both. Yeah, this one I might have some questions about this one here, but yeah, I feel confident. And that would be my advice. But any other suggestions, recommendations from any of you? I'm going to shut up now because I've talked a lot and let you all share any insights from any of these questions have been asked, or any questions you all might have. Martha, you had a question? Oh, go ahead. Martha, you had a question about background checks, didn't you? Or...
Yeah. So, because I work with folks with different backgrounds, and something that we have, and like if you have a background, if you show them a job, you just show up and even hire you on the spot, depending obviously what kind of you're for. So I know I'm coming across on my side, or we are coming across house that are looking for jobs so they can get their feet. And if they have, obviously they need, but it does get come across these cases and they're looking for jobs and they're just, no one's giving them an opportunity. So what are your thoughts on anyone that's here showing up and asking, like, here's my resume, she said I'm working here. Do you think that's too aggressive?
I mean, I'm going to sound like a Gen Xer here. It sounds a little thirsty when you go up with your resume in hand. okay, or it sounds a little desperate a little bit. So I think have the resume on you, not just don't have it like in your hand walking up to somebody. I think that makes it look a little bit, it goes back to having that confidence. You want that person to be confident as much as possible and portray that confidence. And for some people, it's going to be harder. But I think going up to people, that's networking. Absolutely. It shows that you have confidence, that you came up to me and asked me about, hey, I like what I'm seeing here. Can I talk to you about any jobs that you all might have open? Or do you have any jobs open here? You all seem to have a lot of fun or work well together, or whatever the reason that they want to work there. I just don't, and I don't know if that person actually had the resume in their hand, but as you were talking, that visual, I just want to make sure that people aren't coming across desperate. It's like saying on LinkedIn message, I need a job. That's not that's not making you look confident. So did that answer the question there, Martha?
Yeah, it does. It
Mac?
does. It does. I get it on the other end. Yeah.
Yeah. So, on Martha's question, I think that there's two parts to it, because a lot of people think that, if I don't match the resume or the CV 100%, I won't get the job. And that couldn't be further from the truth, because, if you can do the main tasks, as an example, then you're in with a shot, because the employer is looking for somebody that's going to be trustworthy, that's hungry to work, that's going to be wanting to stand out, that wants to be able to deliver, because they want the most productive person in that role. And the reality is, I myself have got, 5 or 6 roles where I had absolutely zero industry experience, but I had some, I had sales experience, I had management experience, but I had, as an example, one of the roles was in software as a service and working in cybersecurity. I had no foggy idea about what the hell they were even, it sounded like Greek to me. But because I went in and I was like, you know what, I've just been in this other organization for the last 2 years, zero experience. I was in the top 3 for 90% of my time at that organization. And I'm a quick learner. I went as far as to say, hey, you know what, if you give me a shot, if I don't hit the targets you want me to within the first 90 days, then obviously I'm not made for this job. And that gave me an opportunity to get my foot in the door, as an example. But also, when it comes to employing people, especially people that maybe have been down on their luck or haven't had an opportunity in a while, I've been in the position where I got made redundant 6 times in something like 8 years. Top of my game in each one of these. And I was like, hey, great. And then, because of my achievements, the company was in a position to exit and sell themselves at a great profit. And I found myself out of a job. But the reality is that enthusiasm and hunger and excitement and willingness to learn is something that people, if you've got that, it's something that you need to make people aware of and say, hey, yeah, I don't have X, Y, Z skills, because as Felipe said, having that honesty up front, that actually really counts as some big points, because every other person is going to say, yeah, I can do everything. Then they get into the role, and 6 months down the line, the manager walks in, asks a question, and they don't have ChatGPT open, so they can't answer the question right away. And it's like, hold on, let me get back to you, or they're on their phone. And it's like, you're going to get caught out somewhere along the line that you don't really have those expertise. So fake it till you make it. Having that honesty, like, hey, there's certain things I don't know, but I'm willing to learn. That actually puts you in good stead with a lot of companies as well.
I love that you said that, Mac, because it is true, and people are going to find out if you are flat out lying. And as an HR person, when I know that, hey, this person says this area they need a little more, exposure to, when I hire them, hey, I'm going to put you with Mac. Mac is the one who probably knows the most about this and can probably show you how we use it here. And that is going to help them be more successful. But if I don't know that, I can't give them that direction. So I wanted to answer some questions here in the chat. Before that, though, did Lark or Joel, did you have anything else you wanted to add to Martha's stuff?
Not really. I mean, I think the point is clear. A lot of it is based on what entry point are you looking at, because the rules do not apply across the board for everyone all the time. So I think it's always important to remember that. But the question I had to do with age and duration of time in the workplace and stuff. So before we switch gears entirely, I'll yield the mic.
All right, so real quick, there are some questions here. So Nick made a comment here. I was trying to find it, but it was about seeking part-time work and doing. Oh, here it is. So she said, I think part-time internships or volunteer work for nonprofit can help us mentally grounded during the job hunt, and that is so true because, again, it's like that mindset of getting up and taking a shower and getting dressed, even though you may not have a place to work or go to, doing some kind of activity. Doing these LinkedIn shows during my job search gave me something of focus to stay positive, to do, and still research areas of expertise that I'm in. So it helped me in my job search, but also helped me network, and it helped me stay positive. So great point. Michelle, you made a comment here about AI, and AI is definitely a friend of yours. You definitely can have it help you. Just don't have it do the work for you. Check it after, edit it. It's like a kid's homework. Check it before you turn it in. But you know, AI can tailor the resume to say, hey, here's a job description. Here's my objective or my first paragraph of my resume. Tailor it to match the same verbiage and words used here. And tone, and see what happens. Again, you have to massage it, make sure it sounds like you, make sure you understand the words that they're using. If they are using words that you don't understand, do not keep them in there, okay? And then, who mentioned job scams? Somebody, oh, Adrian. Adrian mentioned job scams. We talked about that earlier. Again, if it looks too good to be true, definitely don't click on links, don't give social security numbers, don't give your last four, don't give your bank account. Nothing. Just really, the best you can do is that multi-factor authentication on everything in your life. Just do it. LinkedIn, your bank account, your Microsoft account, whatever. All right. And then Jackie, thank you, Jackie, so much for being so diligent and making sure that we did not miss your question, because I did miss it. But she brought up a great question here. Here she says, what do you list with starting salary should you put when they list a salary range, but you want to put an expected starting rate? And so when they give you a range, here's what I'll tell you. A lot of people just put the maximum, and that's something that if somebody with the same experience, same energy as you come in and they put the midpoint, they might get my attention first, I'll be honest, because if you put the maximum, I'm thinking, okay, first of all, the maximum of the range gives me a little bit less room for you to grow if it's the true maximum. And two, are you really happy with that? Or did you want more and you're settling for less? So I'm already getting doubts. So I wouldn't recommend putting the maximum. I'd say somewhere between the midpoint, the middle of the range, and the maximum. You know, if you're happy, look, if the middle of the range is giving you $10,000 more than you're making, don't get greedy. Okay, put the midpoint and be happy with that, because you want to stand out. Because you get greedy, the more higher you go, the lower you get on the radar sometimes. So be realistic. But if it's what you deserve, what you are used to getting paid, put it higher to the maximum. Absolutely. But I hope that answered your question there. So thank you for asking that, Jackie. And Spencer, yes, I had a great time last night playing the game. And I don't think there were any other questions. So with that, I'm going to hand it back to Lark because you wanted to touch on a different topic. Over to you.
Well, did we talk to Martha's question that she had raised earlier? Because I thought that was pretty interesting with the criminal background.
Oh, yeah. Actually, we didn't really dive into that, did we?
No, and I'm very interested in that. I'm happy to come back with the age one and then time off.
Okay, so Martha, can you elaborate more on what your question was around the criminal background checks themselves?
Yeah, so someone, someone that's 90.
Do you want to explain what a 290 is for people who don't know what that is?
A 290 is someone that's had for offenders.
So with that, here's what I'll tell you. That is a tough one. It is, because sometimes the degree of sex offense is so varying sometimes. Now, I will tell you, I used to work in hospitality. I worked with a pre-release center to hire people from their pre-release center. There were sex offenders in part of that program. I was very specific. They are not, I will not hire them for any roles that interact with our guests. They can work in the back of the house. I didn't want, with that knowledge, I didn't want to put our guests at risk. So I was trying to think of the safety of our guests and also not putting them in a situation that might trigger them too. So, because housekeepers have access to guest rooms, room service have access to guest rooms. So don't want to put that situation, but working in the kitchen, working as a steward, working as a banquet house person, setting up rooms. There are jobs that we were willing to help with those kind of pre-release people. But I'll be honest, there were some. Now, there are people, and look, I'll be very honest with you. If I know that it was a child molester, I didn't want to interview him. And I know that's horrible to say. That was very hard. That was something that it was a personal, and that's where you have to realize some recruiters are going to have some personal biases. It's you want to give somebody a chance, but I didn't want to give somebody a chance that's going to be around kids. I would never forgive myself. I want that person to have an opportunity, but not expose it at risk of somebody else. So it's such a hard situation for them to do. What I would say is a lot of entrepreneurs are willing to do that have like a staff of like 10 to 20, whatever. They're more likely to hire people that are honest about pre-release or they're on probation and that they did their time. They've done, they paid for the crime and they're trying to do better. And I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs give people second chances, sometimes more than larger companies will. But there are companies out there that do work with pre-release programs of people on probation for sex crimes, and they will help put them in the right jobs. So I hope that helps. I know my personal bias. I know that's hard to hear. But I'd be lying if I didn't say I didn't think it, and that there aren't other people that might have those similar kind of feelings.
Thank you, Felipe. And just for friends that are here, are coming out of prison, so there are opportunities out there. It's definitely with networking, though, I must say, Felipe, is what I'm witnessing in the field. Is who you know and who's
well, and also finding those companies that are willing to work with programs like that, because there are companies that don't know about those programs. I mean, I had the program for the pre-release center was literally in my town that I grew up in and I was working in, and I didn't know it was there. I had no idea. So it's sometimes just finding the companies, and once you find that company and you get one good hire, they'll come back to you for more and more and more. And you find those companies that have relationships with, and they end up being that advocate for you.
Yeah. So I love that we have jumped right into this, what could be very uncomfortable conversation. And I just love to, have everybody just take a deep breath and just release whatever emotions that may be raging through at this point in time, because it is we can sit and deliberate on the moral judgments and issues, and also allow ourselves the opportunity to understand objective decisions have to be made, and what is the greatest good in a scenario, and how do we do all that we can to serve as many people as we can, being sensitive to the needs of everyone. So I do truly appreciate that we have this platform to have these conversations. They're honest, they are real life. And Felipe, thank you so much, because you were very honest and open, and truly a voice of many, many people who would just not say that. And Martha, thank you. That's a legitimate concern that you face all the time. And there are people who are listening, if it's not them themselves. I know people like Jackie are working with that particular demographic and would run into this all the time. So I'm just really grateful that we are having this conversation.
And before you go to aging real quick, I just want to put, Dr. Kimberly made a point that some people have been on the sex registry for sexting. They're not, these are not the most
Right.
horrific crimes. There's such a range. And then there's people that have been out of prison for 20 years and have redeemed themselves and deserve those chances. So again, we can't put everybody in the same bucket. We have to look at people, giving people chances. So over to you, Lark. Sorry.
Yeah, but it's never one size fits all. Thank you so much for raising that. So question that I have been encountering recently is, I'm looking at women who have been in the workforce for a long time. I am like you, 50s. And, you recognize that you're no longer happy. You've been unhappy for a while. You're looking at it's time to get out there and do something differently. And working on figuring out what could that look like. But there is this fear of now being outdated. You're trying to keep up as much as you can with the AI and with all the new technologies and the ways that business is now done. But the reality is that things are just moving faster and faster every day, right? So there is that risk of doing nothing, you're behind because everything else is advancing, or you're doing as fast as you can, but guess what? The rate of change is so much faster than you are able to keep up with. So I have people who are feeling quite intimidated by the landscape that they are facing. So either they are looking at early retirement looming or being made redundant looming, and they are really conflicted with what to do. And their perception is that the workplace doesn't want them anyway, because they are now at a pay grade, pay scale in a range that they're just not competitive anymore. And so they're concerned about what are their best options? How do they navigate that workspace when they're looking to change jobs, having put in, 20 odd years, and they're in their 50s with still health and mental acuity to go for another maybe 20, right?
All right, I'm telling you all right now, we're going past an hour on the show right now because this is such an important topic here, and I also want to hit Spencer's question. I'll say it. Getting old sucks sometimes. It really does, because your body gets older. But here's the thing: I have enjoyed my 50s more than I ever thought. I enjoyed my 50s more than I enjoyed my 40s. I'll be honest with you all. And so, but that's because I think I'm got that mentality from my mother of being that forever learner. And that's what I want to dive into, because here's the reality, y'all. The AI race, we are all in it, and nobody is winning the race yet, because it's still in the first quarter of the race. So there is no winner right now. Everyone is trying to figure it out. I just did a presentation to my senior leadership team because we just wrote a policy for AI. I'm doing training next Thursday. No, I'm sorry, Thursday after next on AI use cases. We're doing breakout sessions for people to come up with use cases using AI to get them, comfortable with it, because some people are using it, some people aren't, and we want to give them some guidance of what to do and what not to do, and give them some confidence in using it, right? Well, the stat I showed was, because they were like, oh, we just feel like we're behind the 8 ball. We feel like we don't know it yet. We feel like we're cheating sometimes by using it. I was at a conference with over 1,011 HR professionals, 1,011, and they did a poll. Where are you and your company with AI? The majority of them were talking about it, but haven't really instituted or done anything formally. 9% had a plan, and they were dealing with the resistance and training, and 5% felt like they were fully on board and got the ball rolling. I'm sharing the stats with you because you're not behind the 8 ball, no matter how old you are. I have a friend of mine, she's 60. She had some challenges earlier in life where she didn't work for 10 years. She's now available to work, but she's like, look, I was bookkeeping, I knew numbers, I knew accounting, I knew Excel. I don't know all these other new things. I introduced her to ChatGPT. I said, "What are you doing tonight?" He's like, "I'm trying to figure out what this recipe that I saw somewhere on TV. I can't find the recipe." I go, "Pull out ChatGPT." I had to figure out what she remembered from the recipe, and boom! All of a sudden, it gave it to her. It showed her what she needed, how to do it. It's like, "Oh my God, this is brilliant!" I go, "Good. Now apply that to what else you don't know." Well, I don't know a lot about AI, or I don't know a lot about social media. Great, type it in. It's like, "Oh my God. Oh, it's telling me exactly how to do it. I can follow this." It was like giving somebody glasses that couldn't see for the first time. And so what I want to encourage people, I don't care if you're 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, or 93, like my mother, who is just now like, "Oh, this AI is kind of fun." Okay? You're never too old. And so I want to make sure that you also understand something. You mentioned specifically women, older women. You want to know what the group that is the most resistant, fearful, or concerned about the environmental impact of AI? Women under 35. So what that tells me is, if you're over 35 and you're playing with AI, you've got a little advantage over the people under 35. Okay, so again, don't let age doubt you. Now, here's something I want you to remember with your resume. When we're older, we have a lot of experience we're proud of. I have a lot of experience. 23 years at Hyatt Hotels. It is the foundation of what taught me about HR, culture, community, teamwork. That was a long time ago, y'all. So what used to be a whole page of my experience for 23 years became 7 lines of the roles that I held in the cities that they were in and the dates. That's it. Because I didn't want people thinking I was living in the past. I've learned a lot since then. So I wanted to focus more on the recent stuff. So some people say after 10 years, take it off your resume. That's fine, but they're going to figure out how old you are at some point. So I think minimize your resume with your older experience, but keep on showing how you're learning. If you got a certificate in AI, throw that on there, because people want to know, is this person open AI or not? Are they computer savvy or not? You know, the days of are you computer literate or not is not even a, oh, it's nice to have. It's a must have. Are you AI literate or not is the next question. So I want to stop there before I tap into Spencer's question. Did you have anything follow up on that, Lark? Because that's such an important topic that we could do a whole show on.
Yeah, no, I know that there are people who are watching this who would have been interested in hearing the response. So I'm done. I'm good.
Okay. So Spencer, you mentioned a question about, where is it here? All right, here you go. If you have a disability, which should you disclose it during the application process? There are pros and cons to consider when making this decision. My recommendation on this, okay, because again, I'm all about transparency and honesty, but I've also realized that someone who likes to be transparent, it sometimes gets me in trouble. And so, or invites a lot of questions. But when someone hires you, here in the US especially, you're given the option to self-identify with your gender, race, disability, veteran status, things like that. You can disclose that. It's optional. You don't have to. In the application process, unless you need them to know because of a certain accommodation, but even then, you know, like, no, my answer would say no. I would not disclose it in the application process, because at the end of the day, they might discriminate against you because of it. And I don't want you to give them that opportunity. I want you to give them, show them who you are on your own merits, and show them that you're able to do the job that you are applying for the reasons that you obviously know. The only time that they need to know that is maybe in the interview process, obviously, or depending on their disability, they might not need to know at all. So, but I think that disclosing it in the hiring process is the most appropriate and common time to do it, because they've already hired you and they can't use it to discriminate at that point. Well, they could, but they can't fire you for it. And so I think that's really the safe way. But for people that need accommodations, I think the interview process would be the appropriate place to mention that. So these have been some great questions. I don't know if there are any other ones, but I'm going to pass it over to these wonderful co-hosts to see if they have any questions or any last thoughts, and let me know what's on your own minds.
No new questions. I just want to say thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, too. I want to say that there was a question in the but at my system about not putting all your certificates on your resume on LinkedIn. I just can't get to the comment now.
No, I found it. Here it is. It's there.
But what
on the screen. Do you see it?
I don't see it. My computer.
It says I put my AI, Salesforce, SAP, etc. certificates on LinkedIn, not the resume. It would be too long. That one?
Yes, that one.
Yes.
Yeah, if you could share a little bit about that, because I don't also have mine on my resume, and I'm sure there's a lot of us, because we don't want to make it too long. They tell us to stick to one pagers.
Yeah. What Michelle wrote here, I think is wise. List them all on LinkedIn, absolutely, but you don't list them all on your resume. The only ones you want on your resume are the ones that are applicable to the job. If the job is a sales job and requires you to have Salesforce, add it on there. AI, always add AI right now. For today, for the immediate future, always add AI. The other ones, if you're not applying for a management job, leadership management certificates doesn't matter. If you're not applying for an IT job or a job that's got heavy computer work on it, don't put your technology certificate. So list the ones that are appropriate. You probably need to update them, but I think, Michelle, you have a good mindset on it. List them all on LinkedIn and just keep the relevant ones on your resume. All right. Well, I think we have come to the end, but this has been very, very just wonderful to see all the great questions. And thank you, Martha and Lark, for bringing up and Spencer, really important topics about background checks, aging, disabilities. These are real life issues that are happening. And a message to my fellow recruiters out there. If you're out there recruiting, I want you to remember 3 things. 1, remember you're dealing with human beings and be respectful to them by getting back to them with good news or bad news. 2, make sure that you are doing your job to hire people and give them a chance based on the skills they have. Don't do it based on your biases. And then 3, for recruiters, partner with those community agencies out there that are helping people get jobs. Because if you're having a hard time filling them, some of these people are the hardest working people that you will find, and they will be loyal and they will work very hard for you. They just need the chance. So partner up with these agencies that are doing their legwork to find people that are actually have some good qualities, some good personal values to add to your company, and think about partnering with them, because they are going to, for free a lot of times, provide you candidates for the jobs that you're looking for. Okay, so with that being said, let's go around the room and talk about what everyone has coming up. And Max, since you have your camera on, let's go to you, my friend. What do you have coming up, and what are your last thoughts about this?
Well, an hour is such a little time to really get stuck into such an important topic. And with the world going through so many changes, industries going through changes, people worried about AI taking their jobs. The reality is, quite a few people have actually said this in the comment. Ultimately, AI is just a tool that you need to learn so that you can leverage that. And if you even know a little bit about AI, that's a start. But don't see it as something that is scary. See it as an opportunity for you to learn. But also, just put your guard up that not every answer from AI is going to be 100% accurate, and that allows for the expert in you to be able to, make the decision between what's right, what's kind of generic, and where your expertise come in as well. But do learn to use it as a tool, because at the end of the day, it is an extremely effective tool if used properly. The questions that were asked today, all so important. And things like the recommendations. I was speaking to somebody yesterday who they've been in a totally different sector and industry for the last 15 years. And they've been secure in their job, but now they kind of, I want to start looking around. I want to find something else. I'm not happy where I'm at. But when you look at their LinkedIn hasn't been updated since their previous role. So it still shows skills and industry information that is absolutely irrelevant to what they've done for over a decade. So, do yourself a favor. Once a quarter, once every 6 months, just go onto your profile and make sure it's still fit for purpose. Make sure your recommendations are relevant. Like Felipe said, if you ask for a recommendation, be specific in what you're asking for. If you, as an example, had an ex-boss that always said, hey, you know what, Felipe, your HR stuff, you're really great with human interaction, your training is easy 5 steps, Felipe's 5 steps to follow. When you reach out to them, say, hey, you remember you always used to mention my 5 steps and these things. Going through a career change at the moment, I'd love you to just leave me an updated recommendation that just mentions the skill sets and the reasons you enjoyed working with me. Not while I saw this the other day where somebody got a recommendation and they were like, hey, yeah, I worked with so-and-so 25 years ago in a junior role, and it was their first job. And then they kind of straight away lost credibility because it was like, well, you just got a recommendation about something that's totally irrelevant 20 years ago. I'm still in touch with people that I had some of my first jobs with. And they have followed my career because they were proud of the work that they did in coaching and training me right at the beginning. So, think about those individuals following your career and still being valid to be able to leave you great recommendations today, because now they've got hindsight as well that can leave you a very powerful recommendation. That's me. If you want anything else or you want to know about some of the programs I'm launching, feel free to reach out. I'm here on LinkedIn, and I'll discuss with the co-hosts about next week's topic, but I have this weird feeling it might be something around AI. Anyway, Felipe, back over to you, my friend.
All right, so there's another question in the chat that I need to get to. Thank you, Meryl. And I apologize, Gregory and Jay, you all been in the back green room and I did not see you there. I am so sorry. So Gregory, if you want to come back up, by all means, come back up. But Jay, please share your question or what comment you want to make.
Hi, Felipe. Hi, Matt. It's good to see you guys again after a long time. Yeah, I just I had a really interesting question. So just recently, I had an interview for a banking position, and I think it was about 2 weeks ago, and I was told that wait about a week or so because they're still doing interviews. And so I waited, gave them until I would say after Labor Day, because it was a holiday, all the banks were closed. And I was never told anything after that. And I gave them a chance to wait, and I already had done the thank you note as I always do. And so my question is this: is what are the hiring managers hiding from the candidates that want to, job seek? Because, the wait time should not be as long. I mean, honestly, they have to be the the um the company who does the interviewing, they should be honest. It's just if the applicant didn't get the job, just be honest. Don't wait up, 3, 4, 5, 10 weeks, I mean, what is the company hiding from the applicants?
That's a great question. And what they're hiding is that they lack courage or do not like addressing difficult conversations. That is probably the number one reason why they're not getting back to you, because they are really they don't like conflict, and they'd rather just tell everyone all at once versus you individually. And so people a lot of times will wait until they find a candidate to let everyone know. My philosophy that I learned a long time ago was let people know if they are not the right candidate. Let them know. Encourage them to apply for other ones. And if there's any advice I can give them as to why they weren't the right fit, I'll share that. But sometimes it's just there were other candidates that had more experience that we're pursuing. Thank you for applying. Sometimes people are just, like I said, recruiters sometimes are great and sometimes are just lazy, and they just aren't getting back to people, and that's another reason why. But I don't think they're hiding anything notorious in the company. I think it's just the fact that they don't have the courage to tell you, I'm sorry, you're not the right candidate. I'm going to go with somebody else, or I'm pursuing somebody else. And that's just what it is. So, but there are sometimes the cases where they're just so overwhelmed because guess what? The job that you applied for is one of 10 jobs that they're trying to fill. And so they've got 10 jobs, and with those 10 jobs, they got 1,000 candidates under each job, and hundreds of those candidates are reaching out with the same question that you have. And so sometimes it's just the nature of the beast that you got to be patient. I tell people, give every recruiter at least 2 weeks. If you can hear back sooner than that, good for you. But the reality is, I don't tell my candidates that they're going to hear back within 2 weeks. They hear the initial, thank you for your application, I got it, I'll review it, I'll get back to you within 2 weeks. Sometimes sooner, but if they're not getting back to you, Jay, again, it could be because they're too busy. Sometimes they just don't want to deal with it until they fill the job. And other times, last reason I'll say is they want to keep you there just in case because they're not sure yet and they're being greedy. Let me see if I can find someone better first, And if I can't find someone better, then I'll go back to Jay and Mac and Felipe, but I have them at least for now. And those are the greedy people. So there's not one right answer, but I really don't think that they're hiding anything. They're just, there's a reason for it. Mac, did you want to share anything else to that?
Yeah. I mean, I think the reality we have to remember is like you said, multiple different applications, but also people are, companies and organizations are trying to get so much more out of their employees now that a lot of the time the average person is actually doing 2 people's jobs or sometimes 3 people's jobs. And they just physically haven't got the time, and they're just trying to cope within their day job and still being able to finish and still get home to their families and at the end of the day, and they haven't got the spare capacity to get back to everybody. And that's why, if you are a recruiter and you're listening to this or work in recruitment or hiring manager, one of the best pieces of advice I can always recommend is that if you're in that position where you've got that responsibility to recruit people, is let them know what your timelines look like. So as an example, we have a lot of people recruiting for this. I'm still trying to do all the other things that within my role that I'm doing. The best I can promise is that if you haven't heard back from us within 2 weeks, unfortunately, you weren't successful at this time. Then at least they know what's the time frame, what's the next expectation. Because on the flip side, those same people would love that same reciprocation if they were looking for a job. Just to know, am I still in the consideration or not? Because you would lose great people because they haven't heard back from you and they've gone, okay, well, I have another opportunity and it may not be the right fit, but they've got to pay the bills. So they end up taking another job. By the time you do get back, you've lost in both directions of, how would you feel? And just, give that consideration and timeline, because that way, individuals can move on because they know, hey, well, I haven't heard, it's been 2 weeks, I crack on. That way there's no hard feelings, no left on a string waiting to some people put all their hopes in that one role because they thought the interview went well, and then they haven't heard, and then they try and contact them, then that rejection builds up on top of that. So it's really important to be able to have that clear communication. I don't know what your thoughts are there, Felipe.
No, absolutely. I think everything you said is spot on. And so, Jay, I hope you find that helpful. I hope that it gives you a little bit more sense that it's not you, it's more them. And so, and I do want to respond to some of the other questions here. But Jay, did that help at least a little bit?
Yes, it did. Thank you very much. And then, one final thing I will point out is that, and I don't know if this was talked about, is the fact of the importance of doing the company research when you're in the job seeking application process. I think when anyone goes for an interview, prior to the interview, candidates should be doing the company research because you want to show to the company that you're really interested in working for them and that you know a little bit of something about the company and that it shows the hiring managers that, oh, wow, this candidate came for the interview and he or she is asking a question about something about our company. And so that's just one of the other things I want to lay out because I don't know if candidates are doing that these days, but it's a really important point that needs to be brought up. Thank you.
No, thank you for bringing it up. We talked about earlier in the show about, not for putting more time and effort into your applications, doing fewer applications with meaningful work. And that's a great example of being meaningful is not just learning about who works there and who more about the recruiter, but what do you know about the company? We talked about matching the skills and the words, but are you learning about the history of the company, their mission, their values? These are things that are important to a company. And if you resonate with them, that's going to make you stand out. So great point, Jay. Let's see. There's a question here from Maria that I'm not sure if I understand it because I don't know if the question was finished. But if someone in their 60s were recently hired for B2B customer service department and you're having difficulty with their system after 2 weeks on the training, customer experience with B2B is different than, and I don't know what the rest of that is. So Maria, feel free to send me a DM and I'll be happy to get back to you on that one there. I just want to make sure I answer it appropriately or correctly. And then there was another question here. From Spencer. Should I list every person I know on LinkedIn like Felipe, Kenny, William, etc. Recruiters ask for references, or is this not necessary? So you want to be careful and pick the right people for the right reasons. If I was trying to get a job in Kenny's field, yeah, I probably would put Kenny. If you want to put me down because of networking and we've done, like if Mac and I co-hosted shows, absolutely. But if we're just connected, yeah, no, that's not going to be a reason to put me down as a reference. Because that is, know the person a little bit better. So I wouldn't recommend necessarily people that you haven't actually talked to or collaborated with. That's a great question. And I think that was, one more from Michelle. And I think we can, let's see. Is there a secure way to block or ignore certain types of recruiters on LinkedIn? Most of the jobs that come up automatically on LinkedIn for me are from third parties like Lenza. Oh, I hate Lenza. And fourth parties like recruiters, primarily from India. So you can block individuals, but LinkedIn's blocking feature isn't the best. It's a crapshoot. That's the best way I can say it. It works for some people, and it doesn't work for others. I don't know what else to tell you. So sure, try it, but I don't know what the result's going to be. I wish I had a better answer for you. Take it up with LinkedIn because you should be able to block recruiters. You should be able to block people who are DMing you crap. And with that, I think I'm going to there. Okay, so let's go back to Martha had to leave, but Lark and Joel, what do you have coming up, and what are your final thoughts?
Final thoughts are that this has been an incredible hour and almost a half. Thank you, everyone who jumped in, contributed, participated through those questions in. Transitioning is challenging. It always is. And I just encourage everyone to get to that place of perfect peace, or as closely as you can to that, before you make any major decisions, before you go into a job interview, before you send off an application. Just truly get centered and get clear as to what is the desired outcome. Put yourself in the mind frame to kind of get you there and proceed. This week, I am, something exciting happened last night. So funny you said you were playing games last night. I hosted my very first games evening in my spot last night. I had people gather and we played this game called Chicken Foot. Don't know if you guys know it. If you don't, it's the most fun domino game ever. And I'm hoping that this now becomes a regular thing. So talking about games, it's a great stress reliever, guys. So whatever works for you, figure something out to create balance in your life. So yeah, that's this week coming up. I am back into writing mode. I've started writing again, and that's going really well. So I'm going to continue doing that. That's on a personal level. As far as reaching out goes and stuff, still working on facilitating one more retreats. I have someone who's looking to come down from New York. I'm really excited about that. And that's it. I'll be back here next Saturday to support you guys and to just wish everyone a happy, productive week. Take care.
Joel, over to you.
I
You're on
have.
mute, Joel. Oh no, yeah. Sorry.
I'm not. I have nothing going on this week. Nothing special. Unless the man in the bottom right has anything for me that I have no idea about. But apart from that, have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
I think, Joel, the only other thing that you've got is you've got that post where other people can win one of these if they recommend a neurodiverse individual that has been an inspirational leader or somebody that has changed how they see things or is a great educator in the space, because we want to get connected with all the incredible neurodiverse individuals that are leading the way out there in the world to show off what's possible when you have the right support and belief in yourself.
Awesome. All right. So, and for me, what I have coming up, well, actually, first, what I have coming up, I have a few things that promoting my book tour for Miranda and Max. So, if you haven't had a chance to buy it, it's on Amazon. And so, I'll be talking about that. And tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern, I'll be on Noni Rani's show, HR Office Hours, with me and Peter. And we're going to be talking about some topics about workplace culture. And so, and then tomorrow afternoon, I will be on William Rochelle's show, UBU, and we'll be talking about Max and Miranda. So come join us there. And then on Monday, we have the season premiere of season 4 of the Workplace Wellness Hour with Samana Jetty and Ashley Llewellyn. So come check out what is the great lock-in of 2025. If you're curious, come check it out. We'll tell you more about it. And then immediately after that, at 9 o'clock Eastern, I'm on Jackie Hallberg's show, Just Jacks and Friends, and we'll be talking about a lot of different things there as well. And I'll probably be mentioning the book. So a little bit of a book tour. And then finally, I'll keep on mentioning this because on the 18th is the premiere of Future Ready Voices, where I'll be interviewing random senior leaders out in the world sporadically, not like every week or anything like that, as I find them. And I have 2 lined up. The first one is my very own CEO, Jennifer Shuba, who has been a university professor. She has been on TED Talk. She has done a number of different books, and she has spoken on a number of different platforms globally in different countries with different leaders, world leaders. So a very interesting person. And we're going to be talking about the future of work, because right now as CEO and president, it's a very important topic for her and a lot of people out there. So that will be on the 18th at 12 noon Eastern. So a lot going on, but some of it has to do with, again, the book. I got to keep on doing this while I can, so sorry. But my final thoughts for you all are this, and I want to highlight this here, is remember to be confident in what you do know. Be curious about what you don't know and go learn it. Be grateful for what you have, and be compassionate to yourself, and be tenacious, because you got this. I just want people to remember that. So those are my parting words on that. With that, we will see you all next Saturday on the Social Saturday Chat page. Don't forget, follow us on Social Saturday Chat on LinkedIn. Hit that little bell in the top right-hand corner so you get notified. And don't forget to check out our podcast on either Apple. If you want Apple, check out and scan the QR code. Check out our past episodes where we've interviewed amazing guests. We've had great topics that we tackled, and we've had amazing networking events. And if you don't like Apple, I like Apple, but if you don't like Apple, fine, go to Spotify. Check us out on Spotify, scan the QR code, and check out our past podcast there. So with that being said, we'll see you next Saturday on the Social Saturday Chat page. Thank you to Lark and Joel and Mac and Martha for allowing me to do it from my page this week. I appreciate that as always. And I hope you all have a great Saturday, everyone. Take care.
Bye. Have a good week.